I am Brent Leary.
I'm going old school. Paul Greenberg.
Yeah, that was kind of vintage.
Yeah, it's retro.
I like that retro. Well, a lot of people say we're kind of retro too, so I guess that fits.
They say well, you say I'm venerable, which means old, and then they say we're retro, which means old.
All right. Well, either way, we're either old or old, but we are still the CRM players.
And we're the vintage CRM players.
I'm wearing my CRM Players t-shirt too.
Ooh, nice. I have mine too. I should have worn it if I had only known.
Oh, I was like cleaning out my closet and I was like, hey, I forgot about this.
Well, the thing I've worn more than once is the jacket.
Yeah, I like the jacket.
Yeah, me too. It's pretty cool. PPN jacket, CRM Playaz.
And guess what we have today, folks?
Yay!
A moment.
Yay!
Back.
Yay.
Talk about retro.
Yeah,
definitely retro.
Where have you been, man? We can't even do the show without you. We had 3 weeks where we canceled the show because you weren't on it. Okay, that may be a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point.
I'm glad I didn't spit that up. Anyway, so
finish. That's the relation. That's the language. Finish.
Oh, I thought the show wasn't finished yet.
We're done. I mean, finish.
Hey, Sahil.
Sahil.
Good
How you doing, Chief?
All right. So you gotta. So you're going with finish?
Yeah.
All right, Sven. The venerable Paul Greenberg says it's finish. So let us know if he's right and what it means. And in the meantime, guess what? We are still bringing the as. Really got to make sure you say that. Could be like, since 2009. I forgot to put that last part out there. We've been bringing it since 2009.
That is amazing, actually.
One of these years,
man.
One of these years, we're actually going to know what that actually means. But,
No, we won't.
You're probably right.
I think long after this show is dust, we'll still never have figured that out.
But one thing we figured out is you were correct.
I knew I was.
Without data, there is no customer relationship. Without CRM Playaz, there is no song contest.
Yeah, well,
no true. Rams. I'm sure there would be Rams, but
maybe.
No happy hour. Wow. It seems to be a lot depending on us doing this show, apparently.
Guess that means we have to do it. I mean, I was planning on retiring, but I guess I can't.
Apparently you can't. So
no. Thank you. That's a lovely compliment nonetheless. Thank you, Sven.
It's glad to have our moment of Sven back.
Thank God, man. Sven, you don't realize we literally don't know what to do if you're not there. I'm not joking. We need you to be there. I mean, a lot depends. You might say a lot depends on the show, but the show depends a lot on you with the moment of Sven.
Is he like the Michael Jackson of the CRM Playaz show or something? He's got to be there. That was good.
Yeah. I'm glad you think so.
Hey, I'm proud of myself for pulling that one out.
That as good as Stump the Godfather.
No, that's not it. Apparently, you are not allowed to retire there.
Oh God!
Whenever Sven goes all caps and 4 exclamation points,
that means he's yelling at me.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty.
Well, Sven, I'm not going to retire from PPN. I'm retiring from everything else, though. That's by next year. That will be the end of everything but what we do on PPN. Probably.
It's 9 p.m. was falling asleep at 8. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, you're tired. I mean, there's a good. I'm sure you have good reason. It's just not good enough for us.
Yeah, we need to get you an alarm clock or something.
Yeah,
so that you know when to wake up.
What can we do for you?
What are you like? UPS?
Sven, hopefully you'll manage to get out to Atlanta November 11th and 12th, so we can begin the conference with a moment of Sven.
Wow, that's I hadn't even thought of that.
I know. I just thought of it now. So, Sven, put it on your calendar. If you can make it out to the conference, November 11th, 12th, we begin the conference with a moment of Sven.
Yes, he does have a signature entry style, doesn't
that he does.
And
It's
apparently,
one we love.
he needs a drink.
Sven, if you make it out November 11th and 12th, I promise you have bourbon and donuts.
And maybe a possible biscuit.
I hope so. I hope so.
So yeah, we're still we're still sharpening things up. Well, there it is. You want to tell Sven?
Yeah, you'll get the invite, Sven. Don't worry. It's invitation only. You'll get the invite. You're on that list already. So you're good.
All right. So we have some really interesting news coming up about halfway through the show. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Yep.
Lots of stuff going on. And maybe Sven. Okay, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Maybe
okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Sven, based on your preferences, if you're willing to come, I will personally make sure you get what you need on the whiskey side.
Wow.
It'll be my Paul Greenberg selection, which is meaningless to everybody but me.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of other Paul Greenbergs out there.
No, it's meaningless to all of them too. It's only this one in this universe. The rest of the multiverse, Paul Greenbergs, and even the other ones in this universe, doesn't mean a thing.
So we've done the moment of Sven, which is usually, some form of education. We learn some things about languages. I'm going to go completely 180 degrees and show you like the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my world.
I think I know what it's going to be.
We got to do this. This is not to be political or anything. This is just absolutely the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. Here, check this out.
I confirm
a man and then vote for a woman just because she's a woman is either childish, that person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
You know what my thought was? I would love to meet those scientists.
Yeah, there was a couple of immediate thoughts after seeing that. I was like, first of all, did I hear that right? So I had to replay it a couple of different times. That what you said is who are the scientists? Please give us their names. But then the other one was, how long is the transitional period? Since I'm a man who did vote for a woman before, and things haven't changed so far. So when does that actually occur? That has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You know what? I will tell you, that is so astounding that it's almost not. You'd almost think it was an SNL routine or something like that, right? Because there is no way a human being, not forget a rational mind, with a mind, with a brain at all, with a physical brain, could possibly come up and make those comments and still be called human. I think he transitioned to something else. An alien. I don't know. It is extraordinary that the guy actually was on TV making that statement.
I actually played this for the happy hour, folks. And once again, I had to play it a couple of times for it actually to sink in. And yeah, everybody had pretty much the same opinion. If it's not the dumbest, because there's a lot of dumb stuff out there.
No, but
that is among the dumbest.
And the fact he says, I even heard scientists say.
Yeah.
Right. So I am in awe of that, actually. It's so dumb. It belongs in the Hall of Fame.
So it's actually from a news channel, and I'm definitely doing the air quotes. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get too far into it. But it's a news channel that millions of people watch every day.
If you look at the if you watch it again, you'll see right away.
Yeah, if you watch it.
Right. Just find it and watch it.
Anyway, so I don't know why I felt the need. I'm still trying to digest that.
Well, it's well, here's the sad part. it must be an SNL sketch, and not only that, it's a bad SNL sketch. That's how bad that is.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Like that dumb. It's staggering. It is staggering. If you vote for a woman, you will transition to being a woman. Well, that'll save a lot of the transgender people a lot of money.
Yeah, it would cut down on
vote for women. The women can vote for men, and they don't have to go through all the difficulties of the operation.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, does that work in the opposite direction if you're a woman and you vote for? Well, no, because that's been going on for a lot of years, and I don't think we've ever seen a case of. Anyway, I just thought that was so stupid, and yeah, just thought I'd put it out there. All right, something that was definitely not stupid was both of your shows yesterday. You had Talking Headless, which had one of our favorites, Kim Guillaume. Is it Guillaume, like Robert Guillaume?
I think it's Guillaume, but yeah. I mean, I don't think she cares how it's pronounced. But it's Guillaume, Kim Guillaume.
She was the first half of your Headless show, and then you also followed that with Josh Greenbaum.
Yeah, that one went a little off target. It wasn't off script because we didn't have a script. But
he didn't say anything about men transitioning.
No, it's just I started ranting, which I don't normally do.
Wow.
But I started ranting and naming names, and it was like I was going a little crazy.
Wow. Yeah, well. Before we go further, so you had Kim on, and you're doing this, appreciation of some of the best AR folks we've had an opportunity to work with,
and also their stories, because their stories, like Kim's story, was coming from PR.
Yeah,
interestingly enough. Well, and very few
from one of those agencies.
Yeah, and very few people who start in PR are good at AR. I can only think of, to be honest, I can only think, at least to my knowledge, there may be some of the people we know for years who actually started in PR. I don't know that. But the ones I know, I can only think of one other one who was at Kim's quality, and that was Yvonne Donaldson over at Pros, who I thought was a 20-year AR veteran, and it turned out she picked it up when nobody else was doing it there, and it was PR the whole time. She was every bit like Kim, older, much considered about 25, 30 years older, but really, really did a great job kind of along with Kim.
So one of the parts of that discussion I found very fun to revisit is the whole rap battle, and it was Kim's idea. So thought I'd kind of mash together a clip from Talking Headless yesterday, where you get a chance to ask her how did she come up with it and how did she get these guys to actually do it, but also remembering a little bit about the actual battle. So let me play this clip, and we'll talk after on the other side. I always like saying on the other side. It's
on the other side of the hour.
Yeah, on the other side of the rainbow. Anyway, let's see what we got. Here we go.
So how'd you come up with the idea of the rap battle? How'd you actually get executives to do it?
I came from a consumer tech background. Honestly, I think enterprise tech is a bit boring, and it needs to have a little bit more fun. And so the rap battle was just an idea. I'm like, let's see if it was just a crazy idea. I'm like, let's see if I can even pull it off.
How did you recruit Jeff and Steve to it? That's what I want to know.
And they're just great personalities. Not all executives, companies are so gracious and willing to try. They're great storytellers of themselves, and why not do it with a rap battle?
Okay. So, you guys really up for doing a little freestyle rap here?
Not at all, but we'll do it anyways. You know why? Because that's what the people want.
I know my children don't want that.
I have never rapped in my life.
Well, hey, Steve.
Here we
I'm
go.
a little bit nervous because we're on this Playaz to talk about customer service. This is going to be the age of enthusiast, and you better say something, not be a jerk. Rhymes with words.
Ooh, he rhymes.
Well, did you know that the future of service is no service? Because we are the automation nation.
That's true. The future of service is no service, but it doesn't mean that we aren't going to talk to people.
There's a little break every now and then in a rap
which is
song.
good. I meant for that to happen because I didn't have a rhyme for people.
I think you and I are getting closer now because that was probably the worst thing I've ever done, and you were here to witness it.
Yeah, that was Steve Fioretti and Jeff Wartko. And they're both, at the time, they were executives at Oracle. And Kim was the one that was responsible for not only coming up with the idea, but to actually get them to do it. And as you can see, they not only did they do it, they had fun with it. We had fun with it. And even though there was a mercy killing involved, it was all good.
My entire contribution to that, which you couldn't see, was me laughing hysterically. That's all I could do. I just couldn't believe how horrible it was. And but it was so funny. And to Oracle's huge credit, because afterwards, that was being pre-recorded. It wasn't live stream. And I asked Kim afterwards and the Oracle guys, I said, are you sure you want to play this? And Kim said, yeah, we want to put it up there. And it wasn't like big hesitation. They were perfectly willing to do that because they understood, Oracle was changing, the culture was changing, personality was different, and it wasn't a matter how good the rap battle was. It was Oracle having, people from Oracle who were really, by the way, all counting Kim, those two and her, three amazing, great people, having a good time. And that was fantastic.
Yeah, we enjoyed it and we enjoyed them, and it was really cool to see you give Kim her just due, because
absolutely
well deserved. She's great at what she does, and she's creative and innovative at what she does, which we enjoy tremendously.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, you'll actually see evidence. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but you'll see evidence of her creativity probably more than once at the at IRL 2024.
What you won't see though is one of her ideas I ain't going for. I'm not getting tattooed. That's just not going to happen, Kim. Sorry.
Well, you saw her comment afterwards.
Yeah, I commented right after that. My comment was and that's it. All right. So Kim was great. Want to say a quick word about your guests on EWPK last night?
Yeah, this was great. So, I do this show with Kenny Lowers, former head of marketing Golden State Warriors, and this is related to that, which is why I'm saying that specifically. One of his really good friends is Chris Helfrich, and Chris Helfrich is the CEO and president of the Stephen and Aisha Curry Foundation. And Chris is an amazing, first time I met him was last night. He's an amazing person. I mean, this guy has devoted his life, and he talked about why. It was a lot to do with his parents, really. He devoted his life to just doing good. And he's not, the Stephen Aisha Curry is just like like the fifth step on his journey. I mean, he's been multiple foundations and done multiple great things. And so he was a guest. We talked a lot about what he does. I don't know which clip you have, but
I don't have any clips.
All right. So one of the things they're doing right now is they literally have a plan to take all the public schools. So the name of the foundation is Stephen Aisha Curry, Eat, Learn, Play. And it's basically the three things that are necessary for healthy children. And it's focused in and around education and the schools. Eat well, learn in schools, play in the playgrounds. So they have a project now that they're doing where they're actually going to upgrade every single playground at every elementary school in Oakland for the underprivileged elementary schools in Oakland, which is a lot. There's I can't remember the number, but I want to say it was like close to 100, if not more. And they're literally, not only are they raising them and pulling the money in, and one of the things that Steph and Aisha Curry do, all overhead, every single dime of overhead and cost is absorbed by Steph and Aisha Curry for the foundation, so that every dime donated goes to the kids, right? Cool. And to helping the kids. And so the other thing that's amazing is they've got thousands of volunteers to do this. So they're doing a school on Friday, which Kenny volunteered to go to, and they have 200 people signed to work on and upgrade the playground that they're going to work at this tomorrow.
Nice.
And it was great. I loved this guy. He was just a good guy. We have an idea we're going to hopefully implement. Hopefully, is an outside chance. I don't know if it's possible, but maybe you'll get to meet him at IRL 2024. Maybe not.
Cool. So while that's cooking, I want to see if you have any thoughts on this little bit of work or a little news that came out. I think it came out yesterday or maybe the day before.
Yeah.
This is now we've known her during her days at Microsoft. I think that's where I first got to know Julia White. I mean, I don't know her like, we're buddies or anything, but I knew of her. And I remember when she came over to SAP, was that a couple of years ago?
I think probably 3 now.
Yeah, 3 years and basically took over marketing. Well, apparently she had still a couple of years left on her contract. And the guy who I think headed up sales as well, I didn't know him.
No.
But so basically the two folks that headed up sales and marketing for SAP pretty much got let go. You have any thoughts?
I do, but it's not really fair to SAP that my thoughts aren't fair, because if you watched my rant yesterday on Talking Headless, you'd understand why. I'll say this much, and I'm going to be as nice to SAP as I possibly can with these comments. SAP at this point is a work in progress. Okay, even as big as it is, it's doing really well in the ERP world still. I mean, the revenue is good. The supply chain stuff is doing really well. CX is, Josh Greenbaum thinks CX is on its way to being something. I'm much more skeptical. This move at the board level, the problem I always have when I see these moves, there's always some potentially public rational reason for it, but usually it's politics behind the scenes. So I'm guessing there's a consolidation of power, a recognition that things aren't structured the way they need to be in order to get wherever they want to go. My problem is, though, that because I have I hate to put it this way, but it's realistic. I have a dislike of SAP, and I don't trust them as a company. I can't really comment fairly, and that would not be, to their defense, that wouldn't do them any justice. So I'll leave it at what I just said. What about you? What do you think?
Let me pop up the word that Rebecca used. I think that's a good word. I don't think it's unfair. I am kind of skeptical. It just feels like they've been doing this for a while. Like really big heavy hitters come in and they don't last too long there. Folks who are there who have been really successful at other places. And I'm speaking particularly around the CX side of the house. I really don't know much about, the main driver, and maybe that's why some of these folks don't last as long, because the main drivers is not the space that they focus in on. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
I mean, it might be. Look, the other thing with this is, even though they're saying it's restructuring its executive board, take a look at what they did.
Well,
one's
yeah, they
head of sales, one's the head of marketing.
Yeah,
okay, so I mean, it's not the board part; it's what their function is, and marketing. But I will tell you this: there hasn't been a good CMO, a really good CMO at SAP since Jonathan Becker. I mean, it's not like I say the closest to decent was Alicia Tillman, but the rest of them.
Could I make a slight amendment? Could it be the circumstances isn't great, even though maybe these people come in with these great track records, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out there? Maybe it's not necessarily them.
Well, no, I mean, of course. I mean, the reason Jonathan's not there, I think, it's not he told me this, but is because at a certain point he was just too restricted in trying to do what he was supposed to do, and that's a typical move.
Well, and we've known other folks that
many others
we're really close to, who I think would echo that particular theme there, that they were brought there to do something, and then when they attempted to do things differently, and once again, I'm framing this in the context of CX versus the overall mothership. And it feels like whenever they wanted to do things that were different, it didn't really go over too well.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is absolutely one of SAP's weaknesses, that they don't understand sometimes that look how long Hasso stayed there, for God's sake. But here, just an example on CX, to your point. You know, I know several analysts were very impressed with CX at SAP, but well, here, this is what Ralph says, but here's my problem with what I see here, right? Which is I've seen SAP pivot on CX 4 times in, let's see, 2015. So in 8 years, 9 years. No, yeah, 9 years. 4 times they pivoted. Which the year it became the largest business technology in the world, all of a sudden it is the most important thing. And that was 2018, I think. In 2015, they announced a pivot to CX. Then they completely regressed, went the other way. I saved the press release in 2015 about that pivot. And then when they pivoted again in 2018, because all of a sudden it was the biggest tech in the world, I sent them the press release and said, why don't you just use this again? Right? And well, because it was ridiculous. And then, of course, nothing came of that. And then they pivoted again, right? I mean, they've done this so many goddamn times that I don't trust them. I don't trust them on CX.
They
Do
have
I trust them on ERP? Yeah, I don't trust them on CX.
They hire some really great people.
Yeah, they do.
They bring some really great people in.
They're engineers, they're product people, all those guys, the marketing people down, they're great. I mean, you and I probably between us have over 100 friends at SAP who are really good at what they do, like really good at what they do. But at the strategic level, I have nothing to do with ERP. I think their supply chain product is extraordinary. I just don't trust their moves in CX ever again. I just can't anymore. I just can't. They don't prove to me ever. I always, to Ralph's point, I've heard that from at least 3 other, Ralph, I've heard it from him. I've heard it from at least 2 analysts I know who have said, no, you'll be surprised. And I said, well, then surprise me, because I see nothing to tell me that they're not going to just do what they always do, which is, we're making progress. And then
that I think, that might be the thing that hangs over the head of all the good things that you might hear, is that all might be well and good. But I think there's still something when you are in the CX business of a company that is so heavily known for something completely different. It always feels like CX will always be overshadowed, and maybe that's just the way it is, the way it goes. And so maybe sometimes when you're in CX and you want to do things differently, and it doesn't necessarily jive with the mothership, which might be driven by something completely different, there's always going to be these collisions in it, and it feels like there's always going to be something that doesn't allow the great CX work to really build real momentum and keep going in that same positive direction. I don't know.
Well, to your point, I'll also say this: I don't even know what their product looks like anymore. I have no idea. They don't talk to me about it, so it's all right. I mean, as I said, I'm retiring, so if they don't want to talk to me about it, that's fine. I don't need to hear it. But I will tell you this. Anecdotally, and this is not quantitative research, anecdotally, when I'm talking to customers, which I do, I talk to more than enough of them on the enterprise scale level, SAP is not a CX consideration I hear about unless it's an existing SAP customer. I don't hear SAP in the mix in the conversation. Now, again, that's not quantitative. That's conversational. It's anecdotal. But you would think somebody say, well, yeah, we're considering SAP CX. I don't remember the last time I heard anyone say that as one of the choices. It's almost always Salesforce, Dynamics.
I think it's probably, and I could be completely wrong,
Oracle,
but it feels like if you are a company that is more of not a market-driven company, but more of like a, some form of organization that is heavily rooted in things that don't require this huge emphasis on marketing, and you've already got like a big investment of ERP and it's SAP, you're probably gonna look at what SAP has to offer. But if you don't have that as a foundation, as a core, then you're right. I don't think I ever do hear from certain kinds of companies in certain kind of industries and certain kind of positions. You never do hear kind of SAP as in the mix. But if you are more rooted in, kind of the business process and the foundational aspects and the kind of back office stuff, then I think that does take precedence, and that's where you do see SAP.
Well, yeah, and it would make sense to see them there. I mean, without any question. Look, I mean, the sad thing to me about all of this is, and it's unfortunately something I've been saying even when I was working with them. They step on their own feet all the time. They're probably historically they've been. I can't speak to now. Again, my information on their current state of product is way outdated, but generally they're one of the most innovative companies I've ever seen. Their product engineers are off the charts. They actually are in certain areas, like around communities and things like that, very progressive in how they think about them. Their partner programs are very strong. And again, this is me as ChatGPT 3.0. My information only goes to 2021, right? So, but you get the point. So I'm not fair to them, and I apologize in advance to everyone listening about this. But what you did hear me say is what I actually do believe at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think either of us say things we don't mean. And
I'm just saying I'm not letting my biases kill me on it. Although I have them.
Yeah, I think we do have them, and let's be honest, there's been some people that we've really grown to appreciate heavily SAP that aren't there any longer.
Yeah,
because of these layoffs, and they tacked on another 2,000, apparently another 2,000 folks that will get laid off. So now it's from 8 to 10,000. So yeah, there's people we know that have been directly affected and impacted by that, which they're great people, they're experts at what they do. And yeah, we might have some biases when it comes to that.
And I'll say one more thing about that and let it go, which is if you look at Salesforce, you look at Oracle, you look at Microsoft, you can identify a beating heart in the company. I can't see that in SAP. I don't see a heart, right? I don't see a culture that tells me, you know what, they actually do care. Now, is that real? I don't think so. I would hope that it's better than what they publicly present. But again, their problem is their public presentation has always been crappy for 20 years, right? They've outside of Becker, they haven't been able to talk to the world about themselves in a way that actually makes the world feel like, okay, not only are these guys good from a technical standpoint, but they're good company. I like them.
And maybe we'll leave it here. And there are people that we still really respect and appreciate, love. Matter of fact, one of them starts our show almost every week.
Right.
So there's that.
All right. Those are our heroes at SAP.
Yeah. All right. So with all that said, there is one thing I know that you appreciate and love.
And now it's time for Stump the Godfather with the venerable Paul Greenberg. Brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot.
I love that segue. That was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Did it leave you?
There's no such thing as a perfect segue to Stump the Godfather. There's no such thing as a good segue to Stump the Godfather. There's no such thing as a segue that I could tolerate to Stump the Godfather.
Except this, Stump the Godfather, brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365.
Well, I like Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot. I do like that, I have to say.
We're going to make this a quick one because I do see our guests in the green room. feel free to have a drink.
Okay, the answer is 36. Okay, that's it. You don't have to show the question.
Not going to make it
that's my answer.
Quite that quick. But here it is. So everybody get ready. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang revealed Meta AI data centers hold approximately blankety blank blank of NVIDIA's H100 GPU.
Oh, yeah, that's right down my alley.
What number is it? So, anybody want to take a guess in the comments section?
Well, judging from the cost of those things, probably 1.
Remember how much that chip weighed? Was it?
Yeah, 70 pounds, I think, if I remember correctly.
That's a pretty big chip.
Yes. Did we get a call to a friend? I'm going to call my friend Mylene. She can answer it.
I was going to say, are you going to call your friend Jensen?
No, I'm calling my friend Mylene Mangadalen, who runs NVIDIA's global corporate communications. She'll tell me it.
What was that show that did that? You got a lifeline or something like that?
Yeah. Can I use my lifeline? That was You Want to Be a Millionaire, whatever it's called. Something like that.
No, there's no lifeline.
You sit around. Yeah, I was hoping there was.
Yeah. So anyway, let's all get some guesses in. Rebecca, Patrick, Rolf, Sahil, Sven, even our friends in the green room. Just leave a guess in the chat. All right, I'll give you this. I'll give you a hint because this is a tough one. It's in. Well, I don't want to get. It's tens of thousands is a good potential start.
But what's he say? Sven is 5,900.
What is he going? Price is Right. Sven has got almost 6,000. So that's 5,999. All right, Rebecca. Woo! We went from less than 6,000 to 200,000. Woo!
Sven left off a 0. I mean a 9. He meant 599,599. 600,000.
That's a pretty interesting guess. All right, yeah, we get it. And let's see, Patrick is going.
Oh, he's doing multiplication.
300,000.
Yeah, that's 300,000.
300,000. Sahil is coming in at 80,000. Let's see. Do we have any guesses from the group? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, we don't have any guesses in the green room yet. Fellas, if you got a guess, put it up and we can let folks know. So, all right, we've got 200,000. We've got 300,000. Well, first of all, it's 80,000 from Sahil. It's 200,000 from Rebecca. It's 300,000 from Patrick. It's 599,000 for whatever reason. Can I just round it off to 600,000?
Yeah.
From Sven.
Sven, so you got a little bit of range there.
All right. So now we've got those all out.
Do you realize how little of a clue I have on this one?
But look at all the answers. You got
that doesn't mean they're right. That doesn't mean they're even close. I have no idea.
You've got a potpourri.
I don't even know how many Meta AI data centers there are. So how am I possibly going to know that?
Well, just look at the guesses and just throw something out there. So
that's literally so, what's the word? It's so out of the blue. It's so not related to anything whatsoever, regardless of connected to reality, that I can tell. How about 293 million? I mean, what's the difference? Or 12? I'm not sure what 12 of them.
They'll go with one or the other.
I'll tell you what. I will deliberately super lowball it because everyone's pretty high up there. And again, I have no idea how many Meta AI data centers. I have no idea of how many of those chips can power devices at the data center. So I'll say 57,000.
57,000.
I'm going way under because Sahil and I need to anchor the low end.
Let's see. Alan is saying all the ones Meta bought.
Yeah, he's right. Alan's right. All right. Way to go, Alan.
Yeah. No, that's not a way. Yeah. Just go, Alan.
Got it right.
He didn't get it right. That's not the right answer.
The right answer is all the ones Meta bought.
Nope. We're not going at it.
Wrong?
We want numbers. No, we want actual numbers. Anyway, you cynical people, you. All right. The answer is, and I notice our friends in the green room are just they don't want to look like they're going to be wrong, so they didn't put any answers out there. I called you out. That's right. I did call you out. All right. The answer to this week's question, if I can only clear my throat, how many NVIDIA H100 GPUs are in Meta AI data centers? The answer is. So that leads me to believe that Sven either was sitting in and saw the presentation or somehow did a very quick search GPT. Because to pull that one all out of the sky blue, I'm calling foul on you, Sven.
Hey, Sven, if in fact you were trying to like you had researched it and you figured it out and you were trying to like fool us with 599,999 is different. When we get a moment privately, I'll teach you how to do that way better.
Yeah,
how to fake us out way better than
that was pretty obvious. It's Finn. You're up on your local business trivia because it didn't take him long to come back. If you notice, it was kind of immediate. So he must have been reading something or watching a video or something that had that exact. Or this is it. I know how, because this is how I found that number out. I have a Seeking Alpha account, and I got that notification, and it had the exact numbers in there. There it is. See? Yes. There. I knew it. He's got a Seeking Alpha account. All right. At least. All right, Sven. All right.
Way to go. I know.
I don't
my
like that
appreciation for you grows.
I hate that.
No, my appreciation.
I'm gonna have to go to a different source now because now I know Sven has a Seeking Alpha account.
Way to go, Sven. That was good.
That ain't no way to go.
It is. Anything that undercuts Stump the Godfather, I'm in.
I am out.
That was beautiful. Beautiful job, Sven.
All right, moving on. Now that my whole hour has been shot,
my whole world is over.
I take offense to all this joy and ruining this week's Stump the Godfather. Brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365.
But then again, Copilot's great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I turn things over because I really want to go.
Oh, we don't need intros to these guys.
I turn things over.
The universe knows them.
To the venerable and irritable Paul Greenberg, so I could take a moment to myself to get over how Stump the Godfather is just being.
I am going to be this is going to be the fastest, most informal introduction ever.
So what does that mean? Like 10 minutes long? Or
no, it means like this is Bob, this is Len. They are the drivers of CRM Magazine. Both of them have the best way to put it is they are rock star journalists, publishers, editors in chief, not editors in chiefs, editors in chief. They are the reason that CRM Magazine still carries amazing content, including, by the way, an article that came out yesterday on why customer delight is not only not the way to focus, but hurts you, doesn't help you if that's what you're focused on.
Wait a minute. We're still.
That was in CRM Magazine yesterday. On Destination
talking
CRM.
about that?
I loved it. Anyway, we have an announcement. These guys are wonderful. Just bring them on, man. They've been on the show. Everyone knows who they are.
Okay, so you're officially done with the intro then.
That was it.
All right, there we go. I just want to make sure. It's Bob. It's Len. First of all, let me say Bob Fernekees.
Yeah.
And Len Klie, right? Len
yes.
Klie?
Yes.
Yep. You know, I still kick myself because I've known you guys for like 12, 15 years. And up until last year, I had no idea I was mispronouncing both of your last names. So
that's right. Fernekees and how are you pronouncing?
I was saying, for some reason I saw Len's name as Kile and not
Kyle.
So I was calling him Len Klie and Bob.
Wow,
hey, you're not the only one. And thank you.
It happens all the time.
Thanks so much for that fantastic intro, Paul. That was
that's like who doesn't know you? Yeah. It's like what do I have to?
No, I mean you just say it so well.
It's I actually really my intros are the favorite thing I do on any show. Right, so I love the people I get to intro, so that's awesome.
So,
well, thanks for having us on to talk about our. Len, is this our 20th annual? No, last year was our 20th
20th
awards issue.
Yeah, I think last year
So I
was
think this
20.
is the 21st. So we are going to preview our selections on September 3rd at 3:00 on your show, and would love everyone to show up. We'll send links to the freshly posted issue, which will go live when we come on your show, and everybody can read about it. But we'll give you some highlights of what you should look for and some of the things that popped up this year that were new and different, and just kind of give you, a taste of what's going on. I know you guys are involved, but nobody knows what's going on until it's published. So
why don't we do this? Tell us what may have changed with the process this year. What stayed the same? Just give us like a high level view of what will be expecting to get delivered in the magazine and on the show.
Right.
Great.
Okay. Well, basically the awards, it's 11 categories this year. We mixed them up a little bit. Some kind of fell on the wayside. Others got added. So it's 11 categories, basically looking at enterprise CRM suite, small business, medium-sized business CRM suite. We have a new one that we're calling a complete CX package. Then we're doing a contact center infrastructure, workforce management solution, workforce engagement management, whatever you want to call it, WFM, WEM. There's a couple other letter combinations out there, but that's basically, contact center staffing type stuff. Business intelligence and analytics, data management, kind of wrapping. We used to have a separate customer data platform category, and then we had another separate one for some kind of data systems and that, so we kind of rolled that all together. Then we have marketing automation, Salesforce automation, contact center interaction analytics, and finally this year we're adding generative AI engine. Certainly ChatGPT ended everything, and now there's so many others out there. You got Microsoft with Copilot, giving them another plug. Salesforce has Einstein, and there's so many others out there. So looking at that. So those are the 11 categories. Format's basically the same as far as how we pick the winner. Well, we don't really call them winners, but basically we go to analysts like you two guys, and I see there's a couple others on the forum here that are participants, and we basically ask our analysts, if a customer or a client came to you and said, I want to put in X, Y, or Z, which 5 vendors would you suggest they look at as their short list type of a deal? Then we pull all of that information together, come up with the top 5 vote getters from all the analysts, and present that as, here's the top 5. This year, we're also doing something new where we're looking at niche players that might not necessarily dominate a specific category, but are really doing some pretty interesting, creative, innovative stuff within that specific segment. And it's all going into the September issue, which is going to be coming out, as we said, on September 3rd, and we're going to preview it all here.
Yeah, Len, how did you come up with the niche stuff? What went into that?
Well, it was just as we've gone, Bob said we're now in our 21st year, and we've come across quite often in putting these things together. There are companies that are really great, that are doing a lot of great stuff, but they don't necessarily fit within a specific larger segment. So it's really just an opportunity to get more companies involved, to get more, showcase more companies, showcase some companies that are up and coming, upstarting.
So would it be like, let's say, sales enablement as a niche, or would it be something even more?
No, it's within the specific categories, but
Right.
it's companies within those specific categories that don't maybe serve the entire category, but a little small niche within that.
So I'm not suggesting anything because they're not a small company, but it would be like, say, exactly for sales comp would be something that serves the sales automation category, but doesn't serve the whole thing. It just serves this segment. And again, I'm naming them because they're them.
Right.
That's an example.
Okay. So how are you on the niche? Because that's actually really interesting. Are you limiting the niche itself? Meaning you're saying, okay, you have to do compensation, you have to be compensated, you have to be enablement, you have to do this or that, or you're just saying, hi, name 5 players in the category who serve a part of it, who you think would be
well, it all depends. Important. Some categories we might not have any. I'm again leaving that up to the analyst. That was another question I threw out. I added on this year's questionnaire that I sent off to the analysts, basically saying, if there's any niche players you can think of that are doing some really cool stuff, let us know. So some categories we might not get any. Some categories we might get 5 or 6, depending on how big the category is and who's doing what in it.
Got it.
How much did because you look over the last year and a half, going on 2 years now, the world has changed, and more specifically, the CRM world has changed because of Gen AI. So with Gen AI having such an impact on everything that's going on in the industry, how did it impact the way that you approach the awards, if at all?
Well, as I said, we've got a specific category dedicated solely to generative AI engines. But certainly, every one of these categories by themselves, there's a generative AI component to it right now. It's pretty much occupied every corner of CRM. I don't think there's one specific area that hasn't been touched by it across marketing, across sales, across customer service. It's everything from analytics to workforce management and employee scheduling to crafting marketing emails and scheduling sales meetings. So it's really, tough to consider any of these without weighing some kind of generative AI impact into it.
Just thinking, I'll throw this out there. You guys have been doing this. What do you say? This is going to be the 21st year or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Have you seen anything in those years that has impacted the industry in, I think, so universally in kind of such a compacted amount of time than what's going on the last year and a half with Gen AI? Is mobile maybe, or the cloud? Are they?
Well, there was a couple of things that came across that were supposed to, and a lot of the analysts at the time were saying that this is going to be the next great thing and this is the next wave. You had originally it was email, then it was text messaging, then it became social media, then it was the whole metaverse, which now seems to have quieted somewhat.
Quieted is the
a lot of those technologies that were supposed to really be these, huge things that were going to upset the entire industry and turn everything up on its upside down, and never really panned out quite to the level that they did. Gen AI seems to be that one exception. As of right now, it seems to have really taken off. What affect things like all of these privacy regulations and fears about hallucinations and political correctness and all of these other things that are coming up, what effect that'll have. But as of right now, this seems to, as long as I've been with the magazine anyway, seems to be the one that's kind of lived up to the hype, so to speak.
Well, I would say the other one that if I'm looking at it from the standpoint of our world is social too. Social 2008, right? And then by 2011, it's like there was no point in. Remember, we dropped social CRM as even as a term because there was no reason to call anything social CRM because all CRM was social CRM at that point. And the interesting thing, and it kind of goes to point you just made, is the implications of that. We still haven't really, let's say, corralled it in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's still, there's a large element of Wild West that still remains in social after all these years. And Gen AI could be even a longer term project to maturity when it comes to it, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Is it's matured. Let's say this: the use cases have showed up really quickly, and to their credit, it's actually become realistic to use Gen AI in something now. I mean, it's not just the hype, and the hype cycle part of it has kind of moved real fast. However, the implications of impact aren't even vaguely understood yet.
And the other thing you're seeing too is the providers of CRM solutions adopted it right away. I mean, everybody else for social, for email, kind of didn't want to be the first to jump on board. They all kind of, a lot of people kind of sat around and, well, let me see how it goes and let Salesforce try it out, see how they do. And if they have success, maybe I'll jump in. This one, everybody went right in right away. So
well, it's a fantastic
one vendor that doesn't have it today, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a fantastic application area, and people, grasped onto that. And, I love where you were going, Brent, because looking at things, from true trends, from, broadband everywhere and cloud and mobile and Gen AI and social, I think when things get truly successful, they're just baked into everything you touch.
Right.
And, and you don't necessarily need to be a Gen AI expert, maybe with prompts right now, but in 2 years, that'll even be a distant memory.
Well, I remember there was a job posting for a senior prompt engineer, and the starting salary was $900,000.
He's probably using Gen AI.
Yeah, that's right.
That same job posting is now for like 50,000. No.
Yeah, it was like NFTs.
Oh God.
Right. So yeah, it's really going to be amazing to see, how it permeates everything.
I think it also goes like what Len was saying about social took 3 years. I mean, literally, we tracked it. It took 3 years to go from Pivotal announcing social CRM, which is the first technical product that actually did the integration, to everybody in the universe using it. So in 2008, 2011, again, implications long-term for all the other things that's ongoing still. We've seen the good and its bad side. Gen AI took 6 months before people started fully integrating it into their everything. I mean, it took, to be realistic, it took a solid year plus to get the use cases up and get a few of them actually implemented. But the level of speed that the use cases appeared was astounding, because I still remember the thing that established social. And it really was, look, Brent and I were talking about social, and so were other analysts early on. But the thing that really did it, and I don't think I'm giving them too much credit, was when Jeremiah Ouyang and Ray Wang, actually, when they were at Altimeter, came out with the 8 cases for social CRM, 8 use cases for social CRM, and then started building on that. And that was the first time use cases were ever even presented, at least as far as I knew. And at that point, explosion, consolidation, execution became part of everything. This didn't take any time at all for that to start appearing.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
If you think about it, ChatGPT came out November, December of 22. So we're a year and a half, maybe at most, into it, and how far we've come in that short time.
I mean, look, I use Copilot every single day, right? I don't use Google search. I use Copilot. And do I get some things that are a little bit iffy? Yeah. But is it hallucinating? No. It's just sometimes it doesn't quite get my prompt. Let's just say that. But generally, that's what I'm saying. It's routine, and you know, the companies that are getting it get it, and they really Microsoft, you know, gets it. I mean, imagine thinking this. Gen AI, I mean, ChatGPT shows up November 2022. In August 2024, it's part of Windows 11, right? It's literally part of Windows 11, sitting in a right-hand corner to bring up in your operating system.
And many enterprise applications.
Yeah. I mean, at every level, it's just part of life, right? The way people, at least technology life, right? The way people use their technology just includes it.
Well, and then you're also, it's not, I mean, you see what OpenAI is coming out with Search GPT,
yeah.
And there's no direct correlation, just me speculating. When that was announced, it was like the day or two after that, Google came out and said they're doing away with their plans to get rid of third-party cookies.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're seeing is, I think, Microsoft versus Google kind of situation for you know, whatever comes after traditional search, because you know Microsoft has OpenAI in their pocket, and Google has the other half of the world, and so Google sees the writing on the wall. I think when you know now they're gonna have to figure out it's not just ChatGPT, now it's search, which is their bread and butter.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna see them say we're not fighting with one hand tied behind our backs anymore with that third-party cookie stuff. So now they're going to have to react and respond. And both of these two have huge swashes of users, and they have us. Not only do they have the users, they have us doing the daily activities that we all do. You know, we search for stuff, we write emails, you know, we look at videos, and so all of those activities we do countless of times. Billions of people do it every day. And now they got to figure out, well, how do we best use this Gen AI stuff to not only find new areas, but take over the traditional areas that can be mostly impacted for the good.
Yep.
Now we just have to figure out how do we get in on it before the other folks get on it.
Exactly.
It's going to be a really interesting battle.
Well, Paul and Brent, do you guys see anybody, you know, with all this disruption kind of popping in that you're keeping your eyes on?
You mean like a niche player?
Yeah, we can't say that now.
Exactly.
We can't say that now. We got to.
If we do, it'll be in our submission to you guys.
Okay, great. Good. Okay, great. So that's those are the people that make it interesting, right?
Well, I actually have one in mind, which is very interesting. That might be part of what you're looking for.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time today, so we can't really talk about it now. But we will be talking about it Tuesday, September 3rd, 3 p.m. Eastern. I am really looking forward to this. We had fun with it last year. I think it'll be even more fun this year.
Yeah.
And we're just glad that you guys feel kind of the same way.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. Thank you for allowing us to do this. We really appreciate it. And we really do. We're honored that you
always love to be with you guys.
We just got to work on like getting the distribution rights. Are we going to go Netflix? Maybe Amazon Prime. We need to work that part of it out.
That's right. Docu.
I hope it's got a
we'll do a docu series.
Really long time.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks again.
Yep. See you guys.
See you.
Bye.
All right, that was fun.
I
really am looking forward to that.
Me too. And I like the way we're doing it. I really do.
Yeah, and we're still working on actually, you know, what we're going to do with the show, but believe us, it's going to be fun. It's not only going to be informative. We're going to have fun with it. So,
yep. We always do.
We try.
Okay, other than Stump the Godfather, I think we always have.
Oh, thanks, Rolf. You know, speaking of pronouncing names and such, is it Ralph or Rolf?
Ralph.
You know, I got a chance to meet Ralph.
Right? It's a German pronunciation.
It's like
Ralph.
How you would say like Ralph Cramden?
Kind of, not exactly. It's a little. Ralph, you could correct me, but it's a little bit between an A and an O. It's not just an A. It's not just an O. Like Ralph is Ralph Cramden.
Hey,
Rolf,
boy.
Rolf would be kind of Rolf would be the O, but it's sort of in between those two letters. It's kind of Ralph. It's hard
Ralph.
to. It's sort of. It's not really, the two letters aren't really separate. It's just a kind of one letter made out of it. That's the only way I could put it. It's not a long A. It's a sort of middle A.
Middle A.
Like Ralph is a long A.
Okay.
Makes you Ralph.
I'm just glad that I finally, after like
Ralph.
damn near 20 years, got both Bob and Len's names right for the because that was crazy. What is Ralph saying?
Mine is the Simplo A.
I see. I don't even know
Ralph.
what the Simplo is, but
Simple. The simple is, he's basically saying his is the simplest version of an A, but that would be Ralph, but it isn't. I don't
so
think
we can't say, "Hey, Ralphie boy," you know, like.
Well, we can say it. I mean, we can say anything, but I'm not really sure that would mean a whole lot to him.
Well, especially because that was probably my worst. What was that guy's name in real life?
Jackie Gleason?
No, not.
Oh, Ed.
Well, it's Ed Norton, but what's
now that you
his
said
real
it,
name? Oh man, I'm blanking.
Oh, so once you said it, I blanked. I had it in my head.
I can see the guy or like right here.
Yeah, so can I.
Hey, Ralphie boy. Hey, anyway,
Ralphie boy.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we get it. We're going back now, Ralph. We're just gonna go back to ending the show. Anyway, that's fun. So next month we got that to look forward to. You will learn about all the winners in a live show. That'll be really fun.
And also, we'll be discussing some of the cool things that they found.
Yeah,
I mean that's the other side too. They found Art Carney.
That's it, Art Carney.
I went and looked it up. That's why I was delaying. That's why I sort of like making the conversation.
So you
longer
did like
so
Spin did with today's
did.
The Godfather.
Well, yeah, but I admit it. I was literally adding. Oh, and we'll also be doing that because that way I could look it up in time before we cut the show.
No, I just got to go back. Your point about Sven. I mean, come on, 599,000.
No, that's pretty close. Sven, again, if and when I see you at IRL 2024, I'll teach you a much more duplicitous way of doing that.
I mean, even Patrick is better than that.
Yeah. Well, Patrick was woof times woof times woof.
Yeah, but Patrick has had the answer before.
The frightening thing is when Patrick goes woof to the woof.
Okay, we better end this show.
Yeah, I think so.
Spinning out of control. Anyway, thanks again for checking us out. We will be back next week. We'll see who we will have with us. Maybe you. I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Players, and we won't be having Jesse Waters. That's for sure. But we will be having many.
Yay!
Goodbye.